Welcome, esteemed viewers, to an in-depth exploration of aviation history during the Great War. Today, we delve into Chapter 16 of Eddie Rickenbacker's seminal memoir, Fighting the Flying Circus. Titled Becoming an Ace, this chapter offers unparalleled insights into the experiences and strategic nuances of early aerial combat. Join us as we journey through Rickenbacker's transformative ascent amidst the tumultuous skies of 1918. On the morning of June 6, 1918, Captain Eddie Rickenbacker arrived at the Gare de l'Est in Paris. This date is crucial in World War I chronology. German forces had advanced to the Marne River, a mere 30 miles from Paris. The strategic town of Château-Thierry had fallen, and the German offensive threatened the very heart of France. Rickenbacker stepped into a city besieged not by artillery, but by an influx of refugees fleeing the German onslaught. The station and its surroundings were inundated with these displaced souls, emblematic of the broader humanitarian crisis unfolding on the Western Front. The scenes that confronted Rickenbacker were harrowing. Accustomed though he was to the front's brutality, the palpable terror and desperation of the refugees imparted a profound impact. Predominantly women and children, they wore garments that bore the marks of haste and hardship, dusty, worn, and crumpled. An intriguing aspect was the assortment of possessions they clung to. Umbrellas seemed a ubiquitous choice, perhaps a vestige of normalcy or a practical shield against the elements. Children carried an eclectic array: axes, parrot cages, wooden buckets, even farm implements. These items, trivial in ordinary circumstances, now represented remnants of their disrupted lives. Notably, the few accompanying elderly men walked empty-handed, a poignant reflection on societal roles and perhaps the physical limitations imposed by age. The cumulative effect was a tableau of misery and resilience, a snapshot of war's indiscriminate toll on civilians. Amidst this crisis, the American Red Cross and YMCA emerged as pivotal actors. Rickenbacker observed their operations with admiration, noting how their agility and minimal bureaucracy enabled a rapid response. These organizations stepped in where governmental capacities were strained, providing essential services that prevented potential social unrest within Paris. The Red Cross's efforts in feeding and clothing the refugees were not merely acts of charity, they were strategic interventions that maintained civic stability. Simultaneously, at the front lines, these organizations catered to the soldiers' welfare. Rickenbacker highlighted amenities such as club rooms offering hot chocolate, toast, and the warmth of a fire, simple comforts that bolstered morale. Moreover, access to recreational activities and news from home via magazines and phonographs served as psychological sustenance. These services exemplified the crucial interplay between logistical support and soldier efficacy in wartime operations. During his sojourn in Paris, Rickenbacker walked the storied Champs-Élysées, passed beneath the imposing Arc de Triomphe, and strolled through the tranquil Bois de Boulogne. Yet the ambiance was far from the city's famed vibrancy. The populace moved with an undercurrent of anxiety, faces etched with the fear of impending invasion. The proximity of German forces had sown doubt and dread. The government contemplated relocating to Bordeaux, a contemplation that mirrored the uncertainty permeating all levels of society. Rickenbacker reflected on the spirit of the Marne, the indomitable will that had previously halted German advances. He observed this steadfastness in the expressions around him, a collective resolve encapsulated by the rallying cry, "Ils ne passeront pas," or "they shall not pass." This phrase, immortalized on wartime posters depicting a determined French soldier, symbolized national defiance. Departing Paris, Rickenbacker returned via the army headquarters in Chaumont to his aerodrome near Toul. There, he was greeted with auspicious developments. General Benjamin Foulois had recognized the limitations of the Nieuport 28 aircraft, particularly their structural fragility during intense maneuvers. As a result, arrangements were made to re-equip Squadron 94 with the superior SPAD-13 fighters, powered by 220 horsepower Hispano-Suiza engines. This upgrade was not merely an enhancement of hardware, but a significant strategic advantage, aligning the squadron's capabilities with cutting-edge military aviation technology of the time. Additionally, Rickenbacker received confirmation of his fifth confirmed aerial victory, officially bestowing upon him the status of ace. This achievement was not only a personal milestone, but also a morale booster for the squadron and a symbol of American prowess in the aerial theater. The squadron's collective morale was elevated by recent combat successes. On June 13th, Lieutenants Meissner, Winslow, and Taylor had engaged and downed a German Hanover CL near Thiaucourt. Such victories validated their training and tactical approaches, reinforcing confidence in their combat readiness. Despite these successes, a palpable restlessness pervaded. The sector had grown quiet. Opportunities for engagement were scarce as enemy activity waned. Reconnaissance flights yielded little contact, and the absence of enemy fighters diminished the prospects for aerial combat, a sphere where the squadron sought to assert strategic dominance. Rickenbacker's accounts of Paris's precarious situation further galvanized the pilots. There was a consensus. Their skills could be more effectively employed at the Marne, where the intensity of conflict demanded adept aerial support. The squadron awaited orders that would place them at the heart of the action, eager to contribute meaningfully to the war's critical phases. Air combat was undergoing significant tactical evolution. German forces increasingly employed large formations, concentrating aircraft into cohesive units, sometimes exceeding 20 fighters. This strategy leveraged numerical superiority to intimidate and overpower smaller Allied flights. Such formations presented complex challenges. The mutual support within them enhanced defensive capabilities, making solo or small group attacks perilous. Recognizing this shift, Squadron 94 implemented intensive training in formation flying. Practicing maneuvers that emphasized spatial discipline and coordination, the squadron aimed to nullify the enemy's advantages. Formation flying required precise communication and trust among pilots, attributes that, once honed, could transform the squadron into a formidable force capable of both offensive strikes and resilient defense. On the evening of June 18th, an imperative mission emerged. British bombing squadrons planned an offensive against the Thionville rail yards, a strategic node critical for German logistics. The operation's success hinged on adequate fighter escort to mitigate the threats posed by enemy interceptors and anti-aircraft artillery. Rickenbacker solicited volunteers for the escort mission. Lieutenant Hamilton Coolidge, a recent addition to the squadron and untested in combat, expressed eagerness to participate. Recognizing the value of integrating new pilots under guided supervision, Rickenbacker included him, intending to provide oversight. Detailed pre-flight planning was essential. Synchronization was critical. Rendezvous with the bombers was scheduled for 1930 hours over Thionville at 16,000 feet. Formation integrity would be crucial to withstand enemy resistance and ensure mission success. Complications arose as multiple squadrons converged in the designated airspace. The density of aircraft led to confusion, compounded by the onset of dusk. Rickenbacker attempted to reorganize his flight, but fragmentation was inevitable. Lieutenant Coolidge became separated amid this chaos. As darkness deepened, he lost situational awareness, a critical hazard given the proximity to enemy lines. Unfamiliar with the terrain and lacking visual references, Coolidge inadvertently altered course towards German-controlled territory. Rickenbacker, upon returning to base, noticed a lone Nieuport heading eastward, the wrong direction. Realizing the potential disaster, he executed an intercept. Through skillful maneuvering and signal gestures, he attracted Coolidge's attention, guiding him back to safety. Upon landing, the gravity of the situation became clear. Coolidge had been moments away from crossing into enemy airspace, where capture or annihilation was almost certain. The incident underscored the perils inherent in aerial operations and the vital importance of formation discipline and leadership. This near tragedy reinforced the critical value of formation flying, especially for inexperienced pilots. The structured environment provided by formations offered protection and enhanced operational effectiveness. It ensured that novices remained under the watchful eyes of veterans, reducing the likelihood of disorientation or tactical errors. Formation flying demanded rigorous training. Pilots had to develop not only individual proficiency, but also collective cohesion. This included mastering navigational coordination, standardizing signal communications, and executing complex maneuvers as a single entity. The squadron redoubled its commitment to these principles, recognizing that such disciplines were essential for both mission success and pilot survivability. Earlier that evening, Rickenbacker had a serendipitous encounter with an American Samson aircraft from Squadron 91. Observing the plane spiraling downward near Metz under intense anti-aircraft fire, Rickenbacker provided escort back to Allied lines. Later, Lieutenant John Hammond contacted Rickenbacker to express gratitude. Hammond recounted the harrowing experience. The German Archie fire had been exceptionally accurate, twice causing his aircraft to spin uncontrollably due to control cable damage. In a display of aviator camaraderie and defiance, Hammond proposed a daring gesture. He intended to drop his sharpshooter's badge, earned during artillery service, over the German battery, accompanied by a note commending their marksmanship. Inviting Rickenbacker to join the audacious plan, they agreed to execute it the following morning. However, unfolding events superseded personal plans. At 3 hours, Rickenbacker was summoned by Major Atkinson. The atmosphere was tense. Even as they spoke, the reverberations of heavy artillery signaled a significant escalation. The German forces had initiated a substantial offensive. The Big Push was underway, demanding immediate attention and action from all available units. The planned sortie with Hammond was set aside as Rickenbacker and his squadron prepared to engage in the forthcoming operations that would test their mettle and strategic acumen. Chapter 16 of Fighting the Flying Circus encapsulates a period of profound growth and challenge for Eddie Rickenbacker and his comrades. From confronting the stark realities of war-torn Paris to navigating the complexities of evolving aerial tactics, Rickenbacker's experiences offer rich insights into the operational and human dimensions of World War I aviation. His attainment of ace status signifies not merely personal accomplishment, but also reflects the maturation of American air power. The narratives within this chapter highlight the interplay between technological advancement, tactical innovation, and the indomitable human spirit. As we conclude this exploration, we recognize the enduring legacy of pilots like Rickenbacker. Their courage, resilience, and dedication continue to inspire and inform, providing valuable lessons for both historical scholarship and contemporary reflections on the nature of aerial warfare. We extend our sincere appreciation to historians, archivists, and scholars whose meticulous work preserves the stories of early aviators, ensuring that their contributions are not forgotten. For those seeking a deeper understanding, we recommend reading Eddie Rickenbacker's Fighting the Flying Circus, a first-hand account rich with detail and personal reflection. Thank you for joining us on this analytical journey through a pivotal chapter of aviation history. If you found this content informative, please like and share the video. Subscribe to our channel for more expert-level discussions on military history and aviation. We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's engage in a meaningful dialogue about the legacies and lessons of early aerial combat.